Hello, this is Lisa in Imagination Sisterhood Studio, and today I am going to show you how to take flat images that come in so many of our kits and zhuzh them up, give them some boost, give them some interactiveness, or some, just make them prettier. You might say, well, how is that possible? They're already gorgeous. I will show you. You'll need images like this. This comes from a Dasy Avenue kit, and I will post the link at the end of the description of the video. So you're going to need at least one style of this to play with. You're going to need 2 copies. What I mean by that is, so I took this one, I copied it twice. Right? So you're going to need 2 images of some flat envelope image. All right, so let me show you the options. So one of the first ones I did was I made a, this is a, I think it's French Botanicals or something like that is the name of the kit. I actually have a English-French dictionary. So I took some of the pages of the dictionary and I made it into an envelope, and then I duplicated the image, and that's what made the flap that goes down. This one is very similar, used the dictionary pages and made this image. This one, same thing. This one I did a little different. So this one I just used part of the image and I backed the back. So how are we going to do that? All right, make these beautiful images. All right, so let's start with the very easiest of all these. You can take one of these images and glue it to an envelope, and now you have this pretty envelope. And if you are a fussy cutter person like I am, then you could cut out this little pretty thing and glue it on the back, and 1, 2, 3, you've got it. You went from flat to fluffy. You went from a flat image to an actual interactive envelope. All right, so that's what all of these are about, making envelopes. All right, the second one is to take the image and cut it apart and do something with it. So that's what we're going to do first. We're going to take the image. We've got 2 of them. I picked one with a pretty easy cut. If you are a person that doesn't like to fussy cut, then I would find the easiest envelope back that you can. For example, this one. All right, and duplicate something like that. If you like the fussy cut, then pick something more elaborate and you'll get something like that on the back. Okay, so you do you. There's all different kinds of these out there, so you pick one that works for you. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is cut the top out of one of these envelopes. Okay, there we are. I've got my 2 pieces cut apart. So I've got this one that's in 2 sections, and I've got this one that's still whole. I'm going to put the 2 sections away. I'm going to be using the one that's still whole. The next thing you're going to do is get a piece of paper that is, let's do it this way so it's not confusing, that is 1 inch wider than your little envelope template thing. So you can see this is a 1/2 inch on this side and a 1/2 inch on this side. So overall, it is 1 inch wider, and you want it one length. So you want to do just like this. I started at the top, I laid it down, I matched it with the line, do another line, and I will cut some of this off in the end, okay? So now we have these 3 sections that are the size of our decorative envelope. 1, 2, and the top. I use a different envelope, so this one, there we go. This one's working better for this example. Okay, I copied them twice and I have a couple of different sizes here. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is measure and cut. You're going to take your ruler and measure a 1/2 inch on the right edge and draw a line. And you're going to measure a 1/2 inch on the other side and draw a line. Now you have lines like this. You have lines going down and you have lines going across. All right. The next thing you're going to do is cut down from the top and up from the bottom, these two lines. So let's do that next. This one I've already cut, and this one I've already cut, so you can see. Cut, cut, and cut this one right to the line, and I'll cut this one right to the line. And now we're going to snip these off, and you're going to snip them at just the slightest angle. So this would be straight. I'm going to slip them just the tiniest bit at an angle, and that's because we're going to fold those down. So all four of these, this one's easier to see, I'm cutting at a little bit of an angle. Whoops, that one didn't quite get to my line. Okay, snip this here, snip this here, and this is what we're left with. And that's the pieces we want to save. Okay, next, I like to do this with a ruler. You can do it with your hand. You're going to line up your two cut edges, and this flap, flangey thing, you're going to fold that in. And you can do this with any paper. Like I say, I used some dictionary pages, which make beautiful, you know, they're way more decorative than plain paper. And then we're going to crease that. So that's nice and tight. All right, now we're going to open it up again. So now this is how our envelope is going to look. You're going to fold those in. You're going to fold the bottom up. And now we have this top piece. And the top piece, you know, an envelope has, where's my one that looks like this? All right. It has this little top piece, and it can be pointed. It can be straight. This one's straight across. That one's kind of pointed. All right. So you can cut this however you want. I'm going to cut it just like that because it's easiest. And the way I do that is I open my paper up and I gently hold it, slightly fold it. I don't want to pinch the center. I just want to get it so that all the spots are lined up. That's where my cut line is because I marked it already. That's how big I want it. You can make yours however long you want. And I'm going to make mine slightly curved, and I'm going a little above that, and that's completely fine. This is not rocket science. This is all guesstimated. And I'm just going to erase that line. That just gave me kind of a ballpark. All right, so now I have the piece that I'm folding up, folding in, and this piece is the piece that folds down. And the last thing that I do, I don't like that flat, mostly because if you got something in there, you can't get it out. So I do the same thing to this side. And if you're like a wild cutter and you have trouble, mark this first. You just want like maybe 1/4 to 3/8 of an inch and maybe a 1/2 inch in. All right. And I do the same thing. I just cut a little piece out of there, and that gives me a shape. And so now when my envelope is closed, I can get stuff out of there, because if it's flat, it's really hard to get stuff out. So that's your envelope. You can use this anytime, any shape. All you do, measure the shape, do it 1, 2, and you can say 1/2, okay? And then trim the edges, fold it up, and you have an envelope, and you can make an envelope out of anything. All right, now we are ready to create our envelope. And were I doing this for a journal and not a tutorial, I would go ahead and ink all my edges and all that kind of stuff so that it looks all pretty. For now, I just want to show you how to do this because it's so easy. Anybody can do this. All right, you're going to glue this little tab, and you want to make sure that your glue gets to this edge as well as the edge of this. So you want glue on this edge, and you want the glue on this edge. So that's what I focus on. And usually I will use my art glitter glue for this only because it has such a teeny fine nozzle, and that's what I love about it. But this paper is kind of fine, and if you've got really fine paper, it'll make your paper rumple. Art glitter glue will make your paper rumple. So we are doing it this way so that my paper doesn't rumple, but it gives me way more glue than I want, which I don't like. I don't like extra glue. This gets a little gluey-looey when I do it. And since it's pretty gluey, I go in here with a ruler and just make sure I haven't gotten glue down and underneath, which I'm good. Because if the glue squeezes out of those little pieces, then it glues the whole envelope shut. And I've had that happen before. Alrighty, and now we are ready to fold this down. And before you fold it, you're going to get your little image that you decided you wanted to use. And you're going to measure it just to make sure it's the right size. Mine is, so it's perfect. It's not hanging up too far. And I'm just going to glue that on. It's that easy. And if you wanted to be really tricky, you could actually glue 3 sides of this, and you could make it a pocket as well as an envelope. So if I wanted to do that, I might put glue on the side, bottom side, glue it on, and then I'd also have a pocket at the top of my envelope. But I'm not interested in doing that today. We're just keeping it simple today. K-I-S-S today. That's what I'm saying. And we put that on. And we still have that pretty image. So it still makes this pretty thing. Looks like a pretty thing. But we're going to be tricky. And we are going to take this little piece that we cut off, and we are going to glue it onto the flap. All right, so let's go ahead and do that fold. And I may have to do a little trimming, but that's completely fine. All right, and then we're just going to glue this piece on just as it is. We don't have to do anything to it. We're just using this piece, and that's going to make both the front and the back of our envelope pretty. You're going to want to open that up again in case this piece is bigger and it gets glue all over the place. And we're just going to stick it on the flap. Just like that. It's that simple. Go ahead and glue that down. Now you might like this extra piece on there. That's completely fine. You do you. I am going to do me. And me is always take one more step. I'm never going to do something in one step that takes me 3 when it comes to my art. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this off as well. Boop. And trim this side off. And there we go. Now, look at that. Now the back is pretty. It matches the front. We've taken this and turned it into something that is 3D and usable, functional, and it becomes a feature. So there you go. That is my quickie turning flat envelopes into fluffy envelopes. And there you go. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and comment. And thanks for creating with me. This is Lisa in Imagination Sisterhood Studio.